You think you know why you do what you do. You think your decisions are logical, honest, and well-intentioned. But what if I told you that most of your actions are not driven by the reasons you proudly explain to others, but by hidden motives you don't even want to admit to yourself? What if your brain is quietly lying to you every single day while pretending to be moral, smart, and rational? This is exactly what the elephant in the brain exposes, the uncomfortable truth about human behavior that society avoids talking about. And once you see it, you'll never look at people, success, kindness, or even yourself the same way again. Humans love to believe they are good, rational creatures. We say we help others because we're kind. We work hard because we love productivity. And we follow rules because we value ethics. But according to the elephant in the brain, most of these explanations are just socially acceptable stories. Beneath the surface lies the elephant, our hidden motives, while our conscious mind is merely the rider, inventing explanations that make us look good. The uncomfortable reality is that much of human behavior is driven by self-interest, status, signaling, and survival instincts, even when we claim otherwise. One of the book's core ideas is self-deception. Humans are incredibly good at lying, not just to others, but to themselves. Why? Because self-deception helps us deceive others more effectively. If you truly believe your own story, it becomes more convincing. This is why people often don't realize their real motivations. They genuinely think they are acting morally, while their subconscious is chasing status, power, or approval. This hidden layer of motivation shapes almost everything we do, from careers and friendships to charity and politics. Take charity, for example. We like to believe people donate purely out of compassion, but the book argues that donations often function as status signals. Public donations, name plaques, social media posts, these acts don't just help others, they advertise wealth, generosity, and moral superiority. This doesn't mean charity is useless, but it does mean our reasons for giving are often mixed. The elephant wants recognition, respect, and social approval, while the rider tells a clean, moral story. Education is another powerful example. We assume people go to school mainly to learn useful skills, but much of education acts as a signaling system. Degrees signal intelligence, discipline, and conformity rather than pure knowledge. That's why many jobs require degrees even when the skills aren't directly used. Education becomes less about learning and more about proving you're capable, obedient, and socially acceptable. The elephant wants higher status. The rider says, "I just love learning." The same pattern appears in the workplace. People say they want. Education is another powerful example. We assume people go to school mainly to learn useful skills, but much of education acts as a signaling system. Degrees signal intelligence, discipline, and conformity rather than pure knowledge. That's why many jobs require degrees even when the skills aren't directly used. Education becomes less about learning and more about proving you're capable, obedient, and socially acceptable. The elephant wants higher status. The rider says, "I just love learning." The same pattern appears in the workplace. People say they want meaningful work, but often what they really want is prestige and validation. Long hours, busy schedules, and burnout are sometimes worn as badges of honor. Being busy signals importance. Saying, "I worked 80 hours this week," isn't a complaint, it's a status flex. The elephant craves recognition. The rider pretends it's about passion or dedication. Politics is one of the most uncomfortable areas the book touches. People believe they support policies because they are logical or ethical. In reality, political beliefs often function as tribal signals. They show which group you belong to. Facts are less important than loyalty. This is why debates rarely change minds, because politics isn't about truth, it's about identity.
The elephant wants belonging and power. The rider claims moral reasoning. Even friendships and relationships are influenced by hidden motives. We think we choose friends based on personality and values, but status plays a huge role. Humans naturally gravitate toward people who elevate their social image. Romantic attraction also follows similar rules. Confidence, resources, and social proof matter more than people like to admit. The elephant is always scanning for advantage, while the rider insists everything is about love and compatibility. The book doesn't argue that humans are evil. Instead, it argues that humans are strategic. We evolved in social environments where reputation meant survival. Being liked, respected, and admired increased access to resources and protection. Hidden motives helped us navigate these environments more effectively. The problem today is not having these motives, it's pretending they don't exist. Ignoring the elephant makes us blind to reality. One of the most powerful lessons from The Elephant in the Brain is that moral behavior is often performative. People care deeply about looking moral, even more than being moral. This explains why public outrage spreads so fast online. Condemning others signals virtue. It tells the world, I'm on the right side. The elephant enjoys moral superiority. The rider frames it as justice. So what's the benefit of understanding all this? Awareness. When you recognize hidden motives, you become harder to manipulate. You start seeing through fake virtue, performative kindness, and social games. You stop taking things at face value. More importantly, you begin questioning your own actions. Why do you really want success? Why do you really want money? Why do you really want influence? Honest answers lead to better decisions. The book also teaches humility. Once you accept that you're not as rational or moral as you thought, you become less judgmental of others. You realize that everyone is driven by forces they barely understand. This mindset doesn't make you cynical, it makes you strategically honest. You can design your life around real incentives, not fake stories.
In the modern world, where branding, social media, and image dominate, understanding hidden motives is a massive advantage. You stop falling for surface-level narratives and start focusing on incentives and outcomes. Whether you're building a career, a business, or influence, recognizing the elephant gives you clarity most people lack. If this book made you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. It means you're starting to see reality more clearly. If you learned something new about human behavior, hit the like button so this video reaches more minds that need to hear it. Subscribe for more deep breakdowns of power, psychology, and human nature. And comment below, what motive do you think drives people the most? Status, approval, or power? Your answer might reveal more than you think, because the biggest truths are often the ones we don't want to admit.